Is it worth it to buy a box of High Seas and open it? Looking at this set, I have to think a little bit differently compared to previous Flesh and Blood sets because of one thing. The boxes cost more. They're in the $140 to $150 range currently, and that is going to be in the background of this whole conversation. So in your booster box, you get 24 of these regular packs, which we're going to, of course, crack open, and you get one treasure pack. Now, we'll talk about treasure packs a little bit more later. We're going to save that one on the side. Of course, like all TCGs, these are randomized booster packs, so you get a nice mix of random cards, and at the start of each pack, your first slot is going to be the common slot. There should be 11 commons here. You can see that little C in the bottom left that I showed you. That's how you know you are looking at your commons. And then once you get through all 11 of the commons, you're going to hit your rare slot. So there are 2 rares or higher in each pack. Rare has the blue R circle. Now sometimes that second rare is going to be a higher rarity card. And then after that, this is where we hit our foil slot. And oh man, Flesh and Blood foils, they still look very good. That could be a bunch of different rarities. And then at the back of the pack, we have 2 base cards. Now base, they used to be called tokens. They've changed it to a little b. So now tokens are gone. But you know, in my heart, they're always gonna be tokens. Now sometimes that first slot, that first base card is gonna be replaced by something else. Might be a legendary, might be a beautiful marvel, could be an expansion slot card. There are a lot of cool things that you can find in there. Hopefully it won't be too long before we can show you something. Again, we're back in our rare slot here. Look at that hook coming in. And okay, we're gonna check out the foiling. I do love the foiling, and there we go. Okay, so second pack, we did get a Bam Bam. That is our first Majestic. Majestic has that red circle there. This is an expansion slot card. There is no Brute in this set, but you can still get a few different cards in that expansion slot for other classes, other heroes. So speaking of classes, here in High Seas, we have 3 classes, right? We have the Ranger and Mechanologist, which have come back from the past. And then we have a new class, the Necromancer, which is a pretty big deal. It's a pretty big deal. People have wanted Necromancers for quite a while. And to top it off, of course, they didn't just add that. They added pirates, right? High Seas, obviously, we all see the pirate symbol right there, and a very nice looking battalion. But people love it. People absolutely love the new classes. They love the new class and the new talent. It's a very, very fun theme, and in a little bit here, hopefully we'll get the right base cards. I can show you just visually the 3 different characters that you can play in it. Each character, ooh, look at that foil Majestic Cog in the Machine. That is a nice looking card. That is a nice looking foil. Wow, there we go. There's Puffin, there's one of them. Right, so she's the Mechanologist hero that you can play. And there's the Necromancer. Okay, I saw the Ranger before. There you go. There's your 3 different heroes that you can play. There is another Thief hero they snuck in here as well, only for limited, as it is a young hero. They nailed it for this set for the flavor of the classes they chose, and of course adding kind of a new space within the Flesh and Blood realm here by hitting the seas. It was an unexplored place before, so again, that adds to a lot of the excitement here for this product and why people are excited about getting it. It looks like we're doing Mechanologist fun. This is our second non-foil Majestic Cogworks Workshop. Put that down by that Bam Bam. Some nice looking foil Angry Bones. Now I love the concept for High Seas as a visual setting. If you've been watching the channel here before, you know that I love talking about the visuals, and of course I like collecting play sets, master sets I should say, and different things. And so to me, it's always really important how the cards look and how the theme is put together, how everything pans out visually for a set. And I love the concept for high seas. I'm somebody who, of course, I like that whole beach vibe and style and seas and everything. It's gorgeous. It's amazing. And I'm going to be honest with you though, I wish there was a little bit more vibrancy in the colors, particularly for the non-foil cards and for the lower rarity ones, the commons and the rares. The camera here as I'm filming is doing a really good job of pulling out what is in these images, but when I'm looking at them just in person, Flesh and Blood has this thing where sometimes when it gets into some of the more darker themes or themes that are kind of like, you know, mechanologists, things that are a little bit more, I don't know if the right word is bland, but they just don't have as many of the big, cool colors in it. And visually, it makes the set a little less exciting for me than something like Rosetta. The greens and the purples and the oranges in Rosetta just really make everything pop in that set. And then even with the Hunted, with all the red and orange and fire and flames, it just really, really pops. At the same time, the foils, here's a foil example, the foils look excellent. As always, the foils, they just really, really, really pop. And this isn't true for every card. So like example here, the gold, oh my goodness, the gold cards, this is some of the best looking cards ever. Once we show the foil one, well, we'll see if we get a foil one in there, but if we do and take a look at that, it's ridiculous. But some of the others, like, you know, Tease of the Cog, especially kind of the mechanologist section, it just feels like it needs a little bit more saturation or something in there. Look at this chum friendly first mate. Now this one's looking pretty good. A lot of the Majestics look a little bit better. And Tinkling Shot, and this one looks great. Look at that Sea Lace Sarong. We did get a legendary, there you go, that L bottom left, right there in that first base slot. Now that is what we're talking about. Okay, now we're finding the really good looking stuff. So even though I said, you know, okay, it's not all perfect, some of them like that, look at that. That one, even like Cog in the Machine there, the foiling on that just makes that card sing. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's rearrange a little bit of space here. So again, for me, the non-foils, they could have a little bit more going for them. They're not going to look as nice as a big group in the binder as I would maybe hope. But once you hit the foils, it's glorious. Absolutely glorious. Now, of course, you know, just the look of the cards, that's a good one. That is not everything, right? So for gameplay, a lot of people are saying that this is the best or one of the best limited experiences for Flesh and Blood that they have had. And, you know, I'm not going to pretend that I'm an expert on all of that, but, oh man, see, look at the foiling. Look at the foiling, another Majestic there from that expansion slot. Let me find, some people say foils are bad and evil. Let me find the regular version of that so I can compare it for you. Look at these two. Give me that foil copy all day long. That is... So as people are saying that the limited experience here for High Seas is so good, the higher cost of boxes make it more difficult to justify just grabbing a box, opening it up to play for limited, right? Whether that's draft or sealed. On the flip side though, because the boxes cost more, it's kind of all the more reason that you should try and play some limited with the boxes that you do have to get the most value from it. Look at that, Tip the Barkeep, that's a nice Majestic. Now, of course, I am doing, not that here, I'm doing the exact opposite. I'm only opening the packs. So, you know, good thing to, you know, do what I say, not what I do, kind of a thing, right? But, you know, alongside of that, because the boxes are more expensive and everything, it probably means that most of the time, these single cards are also going to be more expensive, you know, not just for those who want to do limited, but when you're thinking about constructed. Of course, there will be some cheaper Majestics, like Mr. Regret here. Bam Bam as well. But the ones that people are excited about playing for these new characters, particularly our chums and our Necromancer friends, they are not cheap at all. So it is not going to be particularly easy to build some of these decks. Now, as far as collecting, I was extremely excited to try and open a master set for this set after I heard that it was announced. Now, obviously, I am not doing that because of all the supply shortages. This is the first box here we're opening on the channel. But still, there is a ton of fun in collecting this set. Of course, we do have these treasure packs here, and a lot of the collecting excitement has been put into those packs. So that is where now you find your cold foil equipment, even your common equipment. It's where you find your cold foil legendaries. All those things have kind of moved into that pack, and they've become much more rare than they were before. Rarer, one could say. So that even the common cold foils, they're just not easy to find at all. Of course, beyond that, of course, the really, really fun, ridiculously hard to get chase cards are in there as well. You got these signed cards by James White. You've got the amulets that are 1 out of 100. All that fun, super wild stuff sneaking away in there. But oh man, come on. That blue, look at that blue. That blue is so, so gorgeous. Again, oh my goodness. Compare that to the non-foil, and wow. Wow, wow, wow. This one actually has pretty good, you know, coloring and everything on it, but that foil just, oh, so much more. Here's our, you know, sneaky Scurv companion thief guy. I can't remember if we saw the thief. Anyways, so they've moved a lot of that to here. There are still good cards you can get in these packs. Of course, the regular Majestics and all that jazz. And a lot of the Marvels are still in here. But, you know, as much as I do like box toppers and I think they're fun, I kind of wish, you know, there's a part of me that still wishes all of those wild hits from here were back in the regular booster boxes. Sorry, regular booster packs is here. Because there's something about just knowing, oh, I can't get that good card in here. That's always a little bit of a bummer for me. And it also makes it so that personally, you know, I don't suggest ever purchasing just single packs really for high seas. Unless, of course, you're at a draft event or sealed event, that kind of a thing. Nice return fire Majestic number 7 in the non-foil. But really, you kind of want to buy the full sealed box so that you actually have a chance to get something from there. And don't worry, we will open it. We will look at it. And you know, with the gold packs and everything running up the prices, you know, High Seas is just like any other fab set. It has really high variance for the value of cards that you are going to find in a booster pack, in the booster box. And because the box prices are so high, man, the stinker boxes really feel that much worse. Flying high. Now, this is not a stinker box by any means. This is a good one. We got that legendary. We got a nice chum. We're doing great on the number of Majestics we've hit. But a lot of it really comes down to what we find in that pack. And so generally, my general philosophy is like, if it's a set that you like, buying 1 to 4 boxes is a great start. You have a chance at some big hits, big pulls. And if you get up to 4 boxes, you're going to have most of a common rare playset and a chance, you know, for the limited fun and all that jazz. But for High Seas, I'm a little bit more hesitant on suggesting this just because of the price, right? If you can find boxes at MSRP, 120 bucks, that's a really good buy. But in this $140 range, well, you know, it gets a little bit different, right? It's kind of like the more excited you are about the chase variants and finding those wild different cards, the more it's going to be worth it to you. And I think that really includes kind of the treasure, common rare pirate cards you can get in here. because they add some value to the box, but a lot of them aren't super tradable and they don't sell super well. So if you're just a pure gamer, you want the cheapest non-foil cards, you might just want to jump straight to singles for this set. Right, the odds of you kind of getting one of those really big chase cards that you could trade and turn into singles for the deck you want to play, it doesn't line up as well in my mind here for High Seas as it did in Rosetta or as it did in the Hunted. Mostly, of course, due to the higher price that you got to pay at the start of the box. And that is the last pack there, Jack. Be nimble. So like right here, you look at this. This is not a bad box by any means. But I wouldn't want to stop, like I wouldn't be excited to pay $150 for that, right? Now again, we haven't opened this pack yet. So this is kind of really where it makes or breaks the box that you bought. So let's take a look at it. I would say even at, Legendary, there's not enough to make this box feel super wild and amazing. So let's give it a shot. We did get a gold, and this is the one I was telling you about before, that it's like, man, wow. That is a piece of art. That is so good looking, and man, that's a card that I do not feel bad about having like a pile of 100 of them. It looks so ridiculous. So ridiculous. Let's see. I'm going to hold that there so we don't see, but look at that back side of that card. That is pure gold. Pure gold. That's the kind of card. Oh my goodness. Absolutely gorgeous. Now here, this second card, this is where things really matter, and actually it is a golden tipple. This is a pretty decent one. People have been grabbing this one up, but there are a lot of other common rare cards here in this slot. These kind of pirate treasure cards, see they kind of have a gold look border around it. A lot of them are just not super great, right? If you get golden tipple, it is the yellow version, or the blue version. The red one is really where it's at. And then at the end, of course, you get this cool little card, makes part of the map on the back and picture on the front. We've been doing that. That's fun. But here, again, that pack, we got a decent one. But man, you can go way down to way less, and you can go way up to, hitting the card literally of your dreams. So, the more I'm kind of looking at High Seas, the more it's like if you're just a pure player, as boxes get more expensive, it makes more and more sense maybe even just to buy your common rare playset as opposed to trying to open one. But either way, whether you're doing singles or boxes or some mixture of both, like playing High Seas, it is not going to be a cheap prospect. Let's put it that way. And of course, then you got a lot of people asking, well, should I just buy a box and keep it sealed? Just hang on to it? And I'm not going to say I know where things are going. It seems like boxes are probably going to go up from here, but you got to be real. Only thing I'm going to say is just don't try and be a hero and go way beyond where you're at or where you should be going, diving in deep. Don't get too crazy out there. Have some fun. We'll see you next time. Peace.